Is dating dead?
Where did they go?
Where? You didn't ask for our opinion.
We're gonna give it to you anyways.
It's the board of the Bling
Broads.
I'm Sol.
And I'm SANNA.
And today we're going to talk about everyone's favorite topic. Love and romance and dating.
Yay!
Yes,
And like modern day dating.
Yes, modern day dating. So, we're just gonna have a fun topic, fun conversation. Let's kind of compare and contrast how dating has evolved to be today. So I looked some things up, and dating and courtship did not really start until like the 19th century. Just like everything else, it didn't start until the 19th century.
That's so fascinating.
Right?
That, like the 19th century is when things really switched.
Yeah, the idea of love, romance, and courtship started.
How did it start, though? Tell us, please. Enlighten me.
It really, I didn't really look too much into that, actually. It just talked about how just the idea of courtship kind of started, and it just became more of like a formal thing instead of just blindly marrying someone off. So
because I've heard a little, I don't know how true this is. I think someone else had speculations and they drew a parallel and were like, that makes sense, so I'm gonna draw that one too. So they were talking about how like courtship and dating became more popular because after like the Second World War and women were more like in the workforce,
right,
and they just increasingly over those next years and decades started becoming more in the workforce. All of a sudden they didn't need the man to the same degree that they previously had.
Right.
And like we're dragging this out of proportion, I think, like a little bit, but like the woman didn't need the man as much, so that now marriage wasn't just like business. It was, if you want to, you can. And so people started looking for more love relationships, and love marriages.
From what I saw is it actually, like, the idea of love really kind of exploded in the 19th century, so before World War II. You know how in society, the rich people's society, like Bridgerton, you know how you court these ladies and you know, court them, romance. Jane Austen, you know how those romance books started? It kind of started in that era, the idea of being in love with your partner, and the romance piece of it really got popularized. So that's what I know of it is. So that's where the love letters started really.
Romeo and Juliet.
I'm like, I love you. But I feel like everyone has kind of had this idea of love historically, because if it wasn't between your spouse, a lot of people had affairs to be happy.
Yes.
You know?
Or like, I don't know, like again, I haven't looked much into it, but with Bridgerton they always go to like brothels and stuff.
Yeah, and some people fall in love with the people in the brothels, so that's not uncommon. But courtship back in the day, I feel like, was so much more structured, because there was like a step you had to go by. You had to, you know, send a letter to the woman's family, get approval, have them watch you. And we're talking about Western courtship here. Like Eastern courtship, completely different. But talk to the families, and then, you know, spend some time, then you propose, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, and if the timeline is like, I honestly do not know that much about the history of it. So all I know is based on Bridgerton, and I don't know like how historically accurate that is. But when you watch the show, like there's like a set time in the morning when people that want to court the lady can go in and visit and talk in the her house, right? Right,
and then it would be under the supervision of other people, of the family members, because no dirty stuff happening under my roof.
But they couldn't even, like, no kisses, no touches. Like, you were not supposed to be alone in a room.
It was very risque.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
but was
even
that
touch.
Just Was that just like the upper class? Or was that like practice all over the board? Or was that just the upper class?
Well, courtship I think started in the upper class and then it kind of trickled down into the lower class. Is kind of what I read. I don't know what exactly it looks like for the lower class. But all I know is that it started in the upper class and then trickled down. And then, so people just got married.
Yeah. But then at the same time, like, we're talking about how relationships or like these love that focus started in the 1900s. But I feel like if we look back at like literature and like stories throughout all the time, love
love and romance existed.
And it's always been so dramatic. It's always been like Romeo and Juliet type of stuff, but like all of the stories are so, I can't be with him because my family or my culture or traditions, and like they're held apart. They're always so dramatic.
I know, but love has been around for a long time, but I think this formal idea of quote unquote dating really kind of started then, and then it's shifted in the 20th century. Oh, excuse me,
someone's dying.
It's shifted in the 20th century to where, like you said, it became a little bit more about love and started becoming a little bit less formal, but still formal. Yeah. I mean, if you think about the 1950s, you still asked the father if they could take the woman on the date.
And I don't know if the reason, like if a part of the reason is because the woman got more rights. And I personally never think that, like, we don't need the man. Like, I don't have that opinion. But is there something with the fact that women got more rights that made, like, dynamic change? In relationships? What do you think?
I definitely think, because there was, like, this change shift starting from the 60s, where... or maybe it started in the 50s, kind of 50s, 60s, where women had access to birth control, so had more autonomy with their bodies. They started being able to, they were granted no-fault divorce. So they had more power to get out of relationships that were not good for them. Because before then, like abusive relationships, you had to be in those marriages. And so afterwards... once that was enacted, you could just divorce them and get out of just a little bit more independence. I think because historically women were so financially dependent on the men, it was kind of expected that you had to find a spouse
to provide
to survive in the world. But
sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, but with the autonomy that was given, it definitely changed the dynamic, because I think now we're in a situation where women are actually free to live their lives and free to build the kind of life they want. So if they don't want to get married, they don't have to get married. If they do want to get married, they can get married. So it just kind of opened up freedom, I think.
Yeah, because we've had this conversation before. When was it that women got credit cards again?
I think it was either the 70s or the 80s. Yeah. I think when we said that, the date was wrong.
Okay.
So I think it was like the 70s. Actually, I'll look it up right now.
Because
when?
I think that's super interesting, because then I think that also shows that women were becoming more financially independent, where
1974.
Yeah. Because if we're going to look at it like this, so women were taken from the father and given to the husband. Right. Like, that's how it had been. Like, that sounds funky, but that is
right. I mean, that's how it was. Women were treated like property for a very long time.
Yeah. And then so when they now feel more financially independent, they can bridge that gap. Like, they don't need to be dependent on the father or the husband. They can be like, I can sustain myself.
You know what I find interesting, though, since we brought that up, historically marriages were really for like financial benefit. Yeah. It was to build alliances and better the financial situation of both houses. And so it's really interesting how historically it was that way, but that's been so ingrained into our society that even up until, I don't know, up until not that long ago, that was still the case.
Yeah.
You wanted the other side to be financially adept. And now they don't do dowries, but it's like the last century was definitely like that. So that's kind of interesting. And I think with really rich people nowadays, that's still the case.
Yeah.
Like you get married, not all the time, but...
Well, because I feel like people here in, I think, at least in the U.S., they're still very, like, the bride's family pays for the wedding, and the husband's,
so
like,
I guess
the groom's
that's a
family.
form of a dowry, I guess.
Yeah,
kind of.
Because doesn't that, like, isn't that from a result of older traditions? Right?
Right.
So we're still holding on to that one a little bit.
Yeah. But I feel like it's so different nowadays with dating. I'm an old school gal, so I like the kind of formal courtship process.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, have I experienced it a lot? Not really. But I find that in today's modern society, kind of that formal courtship is kind of going away.
Yes.
Do you feel that? Yeah, you feel the same way?
Yeah, well, it's just technology is making it so convenient to think that you are courting someone.
Right.
Because you're texting with them, or you're, I don't know, sending Snapchats, or you're liking their photos on Instagram. Like, those signals, I feel like we think that is courtship.
I think it's very much so subtle and very online based nowadays.
Yes. Yeah. Which I guess also adds to another complexity that before, when we didn't have much technology, like 100 years ago, like, you know, if you wanted to date, then your small town, that's your options. So it's like you're like, you can have this, you can have this. What do you want? And it's like, oh, I want this one. You know? Versus now, it could be anyone, everywhere. Like, everyone is bombarded with so many options. Like, you can sit on dating apps and just swipe. And so
you
people don't
think
settle.
There's something better around the corner. Yeah.
And, like, I've heard about this thing where when people leave their relationships, like, the person that they're with has 90% of what you were looking for, but you get so focused on the 10%. So then you go to the next one that has that 10% but is lacking the 90 that your previous partner actually had. But
so is love dead? Is because that's kind of how it's okay. Love is holistically not dead, but I feel like the state of today's dating is just very much so online focused, and it's less personal. Is what it kind of feels like.
And I think we're just pursuing, like, the high of
romance.
The high of romance, but then we don't really understand and realize the big long-term part of it. Like, obviously, if you're happy being in multiple middle-term relationships and that's how you want to do your life, and then that's
power
like,
to you.
Then go for it. But if your purpose is to find someone that you want to be with long-term, but then you give people... You look for all the little things that annoy the icks. You're so caught up in everything that they don't do right, and you just change partner constantly. It's gonna be really hard to find and create the foundation for a long-term relationship. Like, it's not gonna be that high constantly.
I mean, I think okay.
That's a really insightful comment.
Yes, you're welcome, Sanna. I aim to please. So much wisdom here.
Wow.
So, no, I was just going to say, it kind of sounds like we're gearing towards a very negative view of modern dating, but I think we can dive deeper in after this ad break. Ooh. That is funny. Need to do something about it? How about laughter? Or try its sister product, a good chuckle. Okay. Oh my gosh. Welcome back from that ad break. Wow, great. So previously, as discussed, it seems like the biggest difference between pre-dating in before and dating in the modern day is the online influence, and how informal it kind of has gotten.
Yes.
Because of the convenience. I mean, we talked a little bit about kind of the negative sides of online dating. Think the mountain of choice that you have.
Yeah.
And the problems there. I think there are many people that really are suited for today's modern dating era. I think there are a lot of people who enjoy it and a lot of people who like it.
Yeah.
For me personally,
yeah,
I wish I didn't have to online date. You know?
Yeah.
I wish that wasn't the case but then where do you meet people nowadays?
Yeah, well, that's the problem too, because like online dating allows you to meet a lot of people, which might help you also figure out what you actually want.
Right.
Because you're not that limited that you didn't even realize that you could have something else.
Yes, there are many people who are suited to online dating, but for me personally, well, hold on. We were talking about how you can't meet people.
Yeah, where are you going to meet
Where are you going to meet people? Because before, I think online dating, you were kind of forced to approach people in public. I hear so many stories, older people's stories, where they're like, I was just walking down the street and he offered to give me a ride. Now that's a great way to get murdered, but but also the stakes were higher back then. The stakes are higher.
He's either really romantic or this is my last day on earth.
This is my death. I miss, maybe I'm just romanticizing it and thinking that it was just more so wholesome
but it makes you feel like valued though, that someone like went out of their way, because it still happens nowadays that,
it does.
That people will like go up to you, like give you compliments, say like I saw you, I think you're really pretty,
right?
Which is so much better than getting a DM on Instagram or something.
So how do you normally like getting approached, hypothetically? Because I know no approaching for you anymore. But would you prefer like a slow building dynamic, or do you rather prefer someone to be just really upfront?
Okay, so I think that in my mind, I romanticize that I saw you and you changed my whole world.
Yes,
can I take you out? But the thing is, I think that the way I work is there's like some tension, but it's a build up.
Oh.
I need like the friendship build up, the little like making mean jokes to each other. Like that really works
just
for me.
Just the fun banter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which again requires you to be in the same place multiple times. Maybe that's why I met like my man at school.
Right.
Like school is a good place to meet people. It can be
school and work,
but
that
like
you meet people.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. But except for that, I don't really know where you constantly have interactions like that.
I guess you could meet your friends' friends.
Then you got to make sure your friends has good friends.
Yes, because sometimes I look at my dude friends and I'm like, I wouldn't introduce you. I love y'all as friends.
Yes.
But I would not introduce y'all to any of my girlfriends.
Yes.
Well, granted, most of my friends are married and happy in relationships, so no need for that.
Yeah.
But sometimes I look and I'm like, you're great as a friend, but as a partner?
You're like, I'm not sure I would recommend you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
But I love the idea, though, of...
Yeah.
I always respect a guy that goes up and like...
Right, because that takes balls.
Yes. And like, you can turn them down in a nice way and be like, thank you. Like, it's really nice of you, but blah, blah, blah. I'm in a relationship. If that's your case. But I think it's so much more romantic when it's not a DM. Like, I had someone once and I thought it was so... He approached me, okay? He talked to me for 10 seconds. So nervous, which is fine. And then we went our own ways. He goes home and he finds my Instagram. He follows me on Instagram. And then he texts me, hey, can I take you out? And it's like, it's so...
That makes me look at you a little bit...
Why didn't you...
Yeah,
like, why didn't you ask in person?
Right. Because even... Here's the thing. If you're going to ask me out over the phone or in person. It's just so impersonal to ask someone over text.
Yeah.
And I know with online dating, you have to text that person and ask out for the first date.
Yeah.
But if you've met someone in person and they just text you, that's so impersonal.
But this guy didn't even ask for my Instagram. He just
That's kind of creepy to kind of find some... Actually, to be fair, if you liked this person, hypothetically, if you were single and you liked this person, it wouldn't be creepy. But because you don't like this person, that's why it is creepy.
That is a good point.
So, yeah.
But either way, like, if you have the opportunity to talk in person, I think you should try to talk in person.
I feel like there were so many more romantic stories back then than there are now. And there's nothing wrong with online dating. Well, there's some things wrong with online dating. But I see a lot of couples meeting their significant others through online dating.
Yeah, which is, again,
and
it's
I think
fine.
that's great. I had a relationship from an online dating platform. Now, was that relationship great? No. But that was more so on me. I didn't. I should have ran when I saw the red flags, but I didn't.
Happens.
But I do. So there are lots of people who do meet their partners through online dating. But I think the hard part is there's so much hookup culture connected to online dating that you have to weave through
the people that are actually serious about a relationship and the people that are just there for fun.
Yeah. I find that I'm not really online dating anymore, but I was online dating. Okay. A little soul dating history time.
Let's go.
So, commitment issues. And so for the longest time, I didn't want a relationship. I just wanted to have fun. I was a slut for a while. No regrets. Well, okay. I do have some regrets. I will say this though, in hindsight, when I was being a little bit more promiscuous, I was using sex as a coping mechanism, and I was aware of it at the time, but I didn't really understand the repercussions fully, emotionally, until later, now that I look back at it. I thought I was aware, but I was young, dumb, and naive. And I do realize I kind of alienated myself from human connection and just closed myself off to the world. So it did hurt me in the long run. So if you are participating in hookup culture, more power to you. But just know, in my experience, I was a little emotionally alienated, and it kind of allowed me to be more closed off instead of helping me be open. Anyways, I partook in hookup culture. I was a slut, okay? And
no.
I wasn't a slut, okay? But I slept around a little bit. Coping mechanism. And so no commitment issues, and I got to a point in my life where now I do want to have a healthy relationship. So I got off online dating for a little bit, had no way to meet anyone, so I got back on it and tried to date a little bit more seriously, but I found two problems happening. One was I found myself kind of getting back into the old habits of hookup culture.
Okay.
And then two was it was really hard to weed out people who were serious and who were not serious. And three, to find people who find genuine people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, that's hard too.
Yeah.
To actually open up to people and be vulnerable is hard. And imagine if you are going on a lot of dates.
Right.
I would assume that it is hard to just be open and honest and vulnerable with every single person that you meet, right?
Yeah, no, you can't. And it's like, men might not have this problem, but as a woman, so many people. I think, well, we all know that women match so much more than men. And so it's this guy asking you out, this guy asking you out, this guy asking you out, this guy asking you out. But you have a limited amount of time. And you know me, I don't really text.
No.
I don't really like texting.
You do voice to text.
I do voice to text, and voice to text censors me all the time because I got a potty mouth. But so what was I saying?
You were talking about the men asking you out.
Yes, I have a limited amount of time. I don't like texting, so when people ask me out, sometimes I don't text for like 3 days straight, and people get angry at you. And if this person's asking you out, this person's asking you out, this person's asking you out, you can't schedule everyone at every moment of the day.
It's like they're feeling entitled to a date too.
Right,
like,
people, the entitlement.
Chill.
Yeah.
Just because you ask doesn't mean you're going to get it. And it's not like you know each other super well.
Right. Just patience a little bit. But because everything's so fast paced nowadays, people just... the humanity's kind of taken out of it.
Yeah, well, because you're not... I think a lot of conversations would happen very differently if they were done in person and not over text.
Yeah.
And, like, I did the same thing. There's things that I have an easier time saying over text than in person.
Right.
Like, for me to be vulnerable and romantic, like, I can text you that. I can write you that. But if you ask me to say it, I might stay quiet for a little bit to, like, get the courage to say it.
Right. It's just... text is really great for a lot of things. However, online dating is a little bit more impersonal. And there are people who put in enough effort with the online dating. But I find that a lot of people, it's just so fast-paced. And dating in the modern day is hard for me personally. Especially because it's a pet peeve of mine when people go like, yo, what's your Instagram?
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, do I look like a 12-year-old girl to you? Bad example. Do I look like an 18-year-old girl to you? No, I'm a grown-ass adult. You can ask me for my number, okay?
Yeah, like we can talk.
Yeah, but to get my number, put in some effort to get my number.
Yeah, like,
I'm not just
I don't know you.
Give you my Instagram.
I don't know you. I was thinking about something when we were talking about the texting and saying things difference. Do you think there's something chemically that changes in your brain when you say things?
I think so.
Like emotionally, rather when you text it, like that it becomes more real, because that's like manifesting.
Right.
Like they tell you that if you say it to yourself, then it becomes more real versus if you just think it.
What do you think about this though? And it's kind of related to off topic, but I'm kind of move us off topic. When it comes to red flags or like, because online you'll see people talking about their ex and people talking about all these red flags and all these negative relationships. And there are plenty of great relationships out there. However, do you feel like because online dating has made things more impersonable that there are more people with red flags walking around? Or is it that it's the same amount of people with the red flags, they just have access to each other now?
I think both, but I think that people are, because there's so many people to meet, the bar is so much higher. So like people will have a first date and like generally speaking, the date was really good. But there's a couple things that you just like, I thought that was a little strange. So then they just don't do a second date.
Right.
So, because they can just go back and text someone else and find another date with someone else. So I feel like people might not be putting in the right amount of effort into one person.
Yeah, maybe it's priorities.
Yeah, like so you're like, we had a good date, but like he gave me the ick one time, so I don't want to go out with him again.
Which is very shallow. I know that's not everyone, but do you feel like that's a good chunk of people that do that?
I think so. The thing is, like, dating culture, I can't add much to it, and it sounds so pick-me, but I never really dated like that. Like, I've never been on dating apps.
Me? That's not pick me. Oh, I'm...
Yeah, like...
I'm sorry, you're just so pick-me.
You're on dating apps? Well, I never was. It just sounds pick-me.
Disgusting, SANNA. Canceled.
All I mean is that, like, I can only speak from what I think, based on what I've seen,
Right.
but not based on what I've experienced myself. For that, I can't really speak much.
See, because I see that online, and I sometimes see people like do that. I'm like, so those people really exist? So I don't really know. I don't really know anymore.
I've heard people talk about like, oh, but they did this one thing. Or they,
Okay. So you've heard people talk about it. So
or like,
it seems like maybe it is common for people to shut people down like that. For me, it's red flags based on their okay, I do have some weird things like if I go on a first date with you and you don't pick up the check. Now, I don't expect you to pick up the check. Okay? Yeah. I always bring enough money to pay for my own meal. And I order thinking that I'm going to be paying my share of it. However, if you don't pick up the check, I will judge you for it. And I will not go on a second date with you.
Well, because I think it also shows like the intentions.
It's the character of the person, especially because if I know you make a lot more money than me, and we're on a coffee date, and it's a $2 coffee, and you don't even offer to pick up my coffee. Yeah, that tells me a lot about your character. Yeah, right. Well, is that too shallow to be like that?
And I am more traditional.
And I am more traditional too.
I think that like, it's just a first date. I often offer to pay. Or like split it, or like, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. They'll say, hey, it's okay, I'll get it. I'll be like, no, it's okay. Yeah. And then I need you to double down and say, it's fine.
No, let me just take it.
Right.
But like, once you... Oh, I didn't even know what those words were.
But then I kind of stopped doing no, it's okay, because sometimes when I said no, it's okay, they say, oh, okay, and then they don't. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should just accept the first time that they offer. Yeah,
maybe if that is the direction you wanted to go in. But I think it makes me feel like you have good intentions.
Right, that you're actually gonna court me. Oh, it's back to the courting thing. You're actually, you value me and you want to. And I'm not an expensive woman. I just need some gestures for you to show me that you care and you value me more than just a piece of meat.
Yeah. And like that, again, with the expectation of, okay, I have an expectation more or less that you pay for the first date, but I don't have an expectation that you take me to the most expensive restaurant.
No, like, I'm happy with some tacos, street tacos. Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to cost you like a fortune to take a girl out on a date.
I think maybe that's the misconception is that I think people assume that all ladies are just really high maintenance and just want all the expensive things. But there are plenty of girls out there who are just happy just to be treated from a gentleman.
And you're trying to get to know each other. So it's not like you don't have to put like a $200 investment into getting to know someone on the first date. Like go to a cafe. Like do something.
And if they're not happy with the first date cafe date, maybe that's not the person for you.
Yeah, and then you spend $10 and it's
But it does get expensive though when it's back-to-back dates and many dates. So maybe people just need a better online dating strategy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like pay for the first date, but then I think as you move forward, like you can split it or you can be like, I pay one time, you pay the other time, like find a dynamic like that.
Right.
Where you both feel valued.
Yeah. Sometimes what I'll do is if he pays for the meal, I offer to pay for dessert. Yeah. If we go to a second place for dessert. Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I'm from Norway. Norway's not very traditional, I would say. So it's not like courting is really that big of a thing there. Or people don't, like, I swear, in Norway, people don't date. But that's a whole other story.
Oh, okay. Well, I have... Like, I did want to touch base on reality TV dating. Oh. but let's take a quick break and then come back to that. Wow, technology is cool. Try lithium batteries. Most technology is powered by it. Probably your phone too. Great. So, like I said, I want to touch base on online reality TV dating because I see a lot of the people who talk about how dating is so hard, and that's why they came on like reality TV dating.
I don't understand.
But do you think? Okay. I'll tell you the concepts real quick, and then one question for you: do you feel like they're actually lying about the difficulty and just coming on there for fame?
I don't think they're lying about them thinking it is hard. I think sometimes they do go on these shows for clout. And because usually when they select people for these type of shows, they're very attractive people.
Yes.
So you probably go there because you're like, well, if I get on this TV show, then I am guaranteed attractive people.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I never thought of it that way. Okay, so, tell me what your opinion on these. Okay, mind you, sometimes these reality shows have couples that are successful. And normally you can tell that they're going to be successful because they actually have functional relationships on camera and not dysfunctional. Okay, so The Bachelor, Bachelorette, do you know the concept of that?
Like, I think I do. Like, there's
so there's one guy, several women, and he dates all these women and
at the same time.
Yeah, and they start weeding people out.
Yeah, with the roses, is that what they do?
Yes. Yeah, you give the rose, and there's less roses each time, and then they send the girls home. The Bachelorette is the opposite: one girl, several men. What's your opinion on that? Dating like that?
So, like, honestly, I don't know, like, if that's how you want to do it. It just...
Give us your raw opinion, Sanna.
No, but like...
Controversy.
But like for me, I don't want to be on a show and then like fight for one guy.
Right.
With 20 other girls. Like, I don't know. I just don't want to. I'm like... If that's the competition, then you have them. I don't want to. I want to... For me, it's important that I'm like your only choice.
One. Yeah.
And I know that... And this is me, but I think like long term I'd be like, remember that one time when you were with that girl and you said this to her? Like, that's probably the toxic in me.
Your pettiness. Remember that one? Just like you're in bed 50 years later.
Yeah.
Remember that one time when you told Rebecca?
Yeah. How dare you? You would have picked Rebecca, wouldn't you? Like, I don't know. But first, like, I'm not motivated by that. At all. I would be like, cool, well, I'm gonna go. You all have fun. Because if it's not obvious that you want me...
then why do I want you?
Yeah. And I understand that it's like the TV show, it's like, it's fun to watch. But personally, I don't get it.
Right.
But again, I haven't really watched it, so why do I know? But I don't get it.
Well, I just want your opinions on the concept, so you don't have to get it. Just give us your raw opinion on it. Okay, second one, Married at First Sight. Okay, so the Married at First Sight one is experts get together and they analyze different qualities and qualities you want, and then they matchmake. So the first time you meet your spouse is when you get married.
Like a little bit of arranged marriage.
Yeah, the concept is arranged marriage. The concept was arranged marriages are oftentimes more successful than traditional marriages.
Yeah. Well, so I have some friends from India, and they've talked to me a lot about arranged marriages. And the thing is, a lot of times it works out really, really well. And it's not like you're just like, you're coming here, you're marrying this person, go off. Right. That's never really the case.
I heard there's a slight courting process, right?
Yes. Yeah. But the families are like, based on what we know about you,
right.
we think this would be a really good fit for you. And like, I've met people that are married, like arranged married, and like they do really, really well. And they're a really good match.
Right. But I also feel like, oh, by the way, a little side tangent. It makes me so peeved when people talk about how, this generation, they just don't take marriage seriously and they just get divorced all the time and blah, blah, blah. Remember I had that debate with one of the girls in one of our classes about marriage, because she was like talking about how this generation doesn't take marriage seriously, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, actually... The trend was there were a lot of more older people. They're calling silver divorces. Older people. Now this is from like 2 years ago, so the stats might have changed. Older people were getting divorces. The rates were skyrocketing, and then the divorce rate was significantly lower. I think it went lower to like 38% at the time. But she was like, oh, because the trend was divorce rates are going lower. And I just feel like people are just more aware of what they want in a partner. And so that's why divorce rates are going down, was the general kind of theory. She was like saying it's more than 50%. It's not, you guys.
Well, you presented statistics to her and she said, no, it's over 50% based on...
No, she said it was over 50%, and then I was the annoying person that said, actually, it's not. Divorce rates have been declining. It peaked a little bit during COVID, but post-COVID, you can see that divorce rates were declining.
Which is interesting.
And divorce rates amongst people who are way older were skyrocketing, was getting really higher. So, what do you say about that? People are leaving 50, 40-year-old marriages. What do you say about that? So I don't think people should blame our generation for not respecting the sanctity of marriage, because in my opinion, I think a lot of people are optimistic opinion. People are educated enough to know what they want in a partner and take their time in choosing a partner, so that way marriages are more long lasting, is my optimistic theory.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that if you take the time there's not that high of pressure around getting married also anymore. So if you do get married, I think it is because you genuinely want it. It's because that's what you want, not just because it's an expectation.
Right.
And I would think that you're more prone to last if that is something that you decided together, that this is what you want.
Right. So, stop digging on our generation about marriage, okay? I don't think that's fair. I feel like the red pill community keeps on saying, oh, chicks are just ruining. No, we're not, okay? So, F you. Anyways, back to Married at First Sight. What's your opinion on that?
I don't know, Saul. I think it's a cool concept. Again, I have a hard time taking reality TV very seriously.
There are couples like Jamie and Doug were one of my favorite couples in the first season of that show, and they're still married to this day. So you definitely see some success stories, but definitely some of them are horror stories. You should see, though, the Australian version of it, because that shit is just like drama. I don't know what it is about the Brits and Australians.
Yeah, I hear
they're kind of crazy when it comes to reality TV.
Yeah, I've heard that those the British versions of things and Australian versions of things are a
bit more intense.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Intense. Yep, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're more free with their because I feel like America is so much more conservative when it comes to sex and dating, as explicit as we are when you compare to the Brits or Australia. Well, Europe in general, we're just much more conservative in that regard. It's still taboo in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think people more freely speak about it, things that are taboo here in Europe, and they're not that weird.
Right.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, whole nother conversation.
I don't think, for example, nudity is as sexualized. Right. For example, in Europe, which makes it more comfortable to talk about it. Right. Because it's not so. Oh.
Right.
If that makes any sense at all.
Oh, the body, gross.
Yeah, we can't talk about it because it's only associated with this very close your eyes thing, versus in Europe it's it's just a conversation, it's a body, whatever. So it's more casual.
So maybe that's why it's a little bit more unhinged, but I love it. It's so great. Anyways, the other last one is the newer one, Love is Blind. Do you know that one?
I've gotten videos on my TikTok and video for it. because the premise is that you can only speak to each other from 2 different rooms.
In 2 different rooms, you don't see each other.
Yeah.
So the idea is you connect with each other only emotionally. And then you keep on talking to whoever you connect with and get to know them. And at the end of the 10 days, you get engaged.
It's just 10 days?
It's 10 days. Isn't that crazy?
I thought it was longer. But
No? No, it's 10 days. You get engaged in 10 days, which is insane to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they were doing this over like a longer period of time.
No, the whole thing I think is longer, but the pods,
It's 10 days.
It's 10 days. So you pick who you're going to marry in 10 days, which I think if 2 people are genuinely very vulnerable and talk about their value systems or just talking hours and hours at a time, you definitely can find a partner that way, really compatible if 2 people are genuine. Mm-hmm. However, 10 days is not enough to fall in love with someone. Infatuated, yes. Love,
But it's a long time to make that decision to get engaged. Because I've heard that if you do sign up for the show, that you have to go through with a wedding. Is that true?
No, you don't. You don't have to go through with the wedding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how long is the wedding after you're finished in the pods?
Because they take the couples on vacation right after they get engaged.
Okay.
So they have a little honeymoon vacation, and then they come back home. They live together for a little bit, and then they get married. So I don't really know what the timeline is. But what's your thought on that?
Like, I feel like a lot of these shows are like, in theory, if we pair people up based on what we know about them, we can make a good couple. Or maybe if they make this like genuine connection without being clouded by looks, you can make a lasting relationship. And like, I think maybe everyone is onto something, but I think you need I'm no relationship expert or professional, but I think you need a little bit of everything. Like, there is a spark there with like the initial attraction as well. And I also know that you can learn to find someone even more attractive because you have a deeper connection. So I guess maybe that's what they're trying to touch base on.
Maybe. Yeah. Reality TV is great. It's very fun entertainment.
Like, it's entertaining. Yeah.
I don't watch full episodes. I just watch recaps of people, what they put on YouTube, because I just want the drama.
Yes.
I just want to know the drama. But, so people do that with modern dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to be more bold and...
Yes. Stop being little...
shoot your shot. But that's not a DM. That's not you shoot your shot.
Yeah, don't... I mean, okay, some people like the DMs, but that's just not me. So, my ideal situation, I think... Ideally, I'd like to meet someone in person, like in the supermarket. Or like,
yeah. And you're both picking up an apple, and then your hands touch. And he's like, sorry, you can have it. And then they make like some kind of stupid pun.
But, romance is dead. So, just kidding. Just kidding. I don't think that would happen. My ideal situation would be to find someone who's just genuine, because I think my biggest struggle with modern day dating is people being genuine. And because I'm a very genuine person and I kind of put it out all there, I mean, there are things I need to change. I've been told I come off very, very intimidating and judgy on my first dates.
Oh, really?
I don't mean to.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently.
Like, what are your go-to questions on a first date?
Well, okay, I try to be sarcastically banterous, and a lot of people
that's what I would think.
Yeah, a lot of people don't pick up on it.
They think you're serious.
Yeah, they think I'm serious. So maybe it's just maybe my humor is just not all for all people, and that's the problem.
And that's fine. Like, you're not meant for everyone. I'm not meant for everyone, and that's a good thing.
Exactly. Anyways, online dating is fine. I just wish people were a little bit more... I wish it was easier to find genuine people. I think it's the only thing I have a problem with.
Yeah.
So, let's take a quick ad break, come back. We will close out the... Oh my gosh. You know what I just remembered?
What?
We didn't open up the board session.
Oh no.
Oh no.
None of this means anything.
Oh no. How about we come back from an ad break? We open up the board session real quick. Have a 2-minute board session and then say bye.
Yes.
Need a reason to set a goal? Try New Year's resolutions. Be the 9% that actually achieve them. Great. Hello. Ad break. Okay, let's open up the board. The board is now in session.
Yes.
The board is now in session. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about dating in the modern day.
I think we had to put subtitles on you for that one because
Okay,
I had a
sorry.
hard time.
We're gonna talk about dating in the modern.
Yeah. Let's summarize. Let's summarize.
Board session was open. From your experiences looking at your friends dating and looking at different couples that are coming into play dating in the modern day, what's your overall opinion?
I think that we need to be more, like I said right before the ad break, I think we need to be more bold.
Yeah.
Like we need to be more, like give it a shot. Like
yeah, shoot your shot. Don't be so scared.
From the opposite point of view, then I guess girls have to be nicer.
Yes.
Nicer when they, because you don't have to say yes, right? You can still say no. You can always say no, but
be nice about it. Don't be an asshole.
And like, because then you don't like ruin their
confidence.
The confidence. Because I would imagine that if you asked multiple girls and everyone turned you down, eventually you'd feel pretty crappy about yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put the pressure on and be like, no, you just gotta keep on doing it. Like I get that probably would be very hard, but like let's shoot our shot in person if possible, and let's be nice when we turn them down, but also give people a chance.
Yeah, give people a chance. Here's my opinion. Okay, if they might not be the best looking in the world, but if they have a good personality, I think you should give them a shot. That's my rule, is if they're a genuinely kind person, then give them a shot. Now, there are certain things that I do look for in a partner, such as I come off very aggressive in my daily life. So I want to feel like a lady.
Yeah.
So I need you to be able to butt heads with me in a sense. Like, I'm not very an aggressive person in real life, but people think I'm very aggressive, but I'm opinionated. So I need someone who's not going to fold.
Yes, I feel like that too. I need you to, like I said earlier, like I need you to challenge me. I need you to be able to, like, when I say control me, I don't mean that as in actually control me, but I need you to be able to be like a little more dominant.
Yeah, I need you to not be so intimidated by me, because I want to feel like a lady. I don't want to feel like the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my rule is, if I can imagine myself having sex with you. No, I'm serious. If I can imagine myself having sex with you and I like your personality, then I will agree to at least a first date. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have to like your personality. So looks aren't everything. Personality too. Oh, but when you were saying about the be nice when you turn people down.
Yeah.
Do you see people who are rude about turning people down?
I think I've seen people that are rude on like online dating when you write.
Oh yeah.
Write it. Most girls that I have talked to that have been approached in person tend to be nice about it.
Okay. Well, because you're nice. You're surrounded by nice people.
Yeah, like they're nice about it.
I think it's great that we're able to connect to people much more easily. And you can connect to different people and really find the community of people you want to date is bigger. Like, let's say you're a polyamorous person. Polyamorous people are not common, but through access to online, you can find your community of just
Like if that's what you're into.
If that's what you're into. So I feel like in terms of that, it's great. It provides better connection. Better access, I would say, not connection. But I do feel like some of the humanity behind it has been a little diminished.
Yes, I think so. And I also think that because technology and media and social media is so permanent in our lives, we see so many attractive people, so we think that we have to be a certain way.
Right. If this person is what you're looking for, like if they treat you right and they respect you, then why are you letting that person go is my question, because I see that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, because you think something else is better around the corner. No, if
it usually is not.
Yeah, if this person treats you right and they respect you and they are a good partner, what more can you ask for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
be nice.
Be nice. That's our thing that we do all the time. Be nice. Oh, and when you earlier said we're not professionals, I feel like we need to put in a disclaimer all the time. We are not professionals, y'all.
No.
This is just our opinion, y'all.
I love how you serve that with an attitude.
Yeah, it's our opinion. And if you don't like
it's
it,
my opinion.
If you don't like it, then boo-hoo.
Yes.
It's our opinion, okay? We never said we were right.
What an ending to this board meeting.
Yes.
We're not professionals, and we are not professional either.
Yeah. So deal with it.
Wow.
I mean, okay, but at the end of the day, love isn't dead.
No.
And I see so many good couples out there. I just be genuine, stop comparing and contrasting, I think is the overall consensus.
Give people a chance. Don't look for the negatives.
Yeah.
I'm not saying ignore red flags, but don't look for the negatives. Look at all the positive things that they did. Like instead of, oh, but he did this one thing that gave me the ick on the date. He said this one joke that made me laugh so bad.
Right.
Like
how about this? Well, not how about this. I was just gonna say maybe that's why divorce rates are going lower, because the people who actually find a partner that they want to marry actually have found the person that they want to marry. And as far as people who don't work out in relationships because they find other people, maybe that is the red flags are just weeding themselves out. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is a good thing. I don't know. We're not scientists. So love is real, I guess. Love is real. Love is real.
Struggling here.
Love is real.
Okay. In the board session.
Love is real. Be genuine. Be kind. Board session. Let's end it. Bye.